Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I don't know why I'm saying welcome back. Well, I have made some YouTube shorts recently, and this isn't technically my first YouTube video. I did make like two other YouTube videos a while ago. I think the first one was something about K-pop, and then the second one was a Shein haul. So I don't really know what the title of this YouTube video will be, but when I was laying down last night, a couple things did pop up into my head, and the one that just stuck in my head was thanking the Lord that is 2016. I know. But the thing is, I do want that to be in the title, but I also wanted to include a couple other things because this video is definitely a rogue video. Like I know basically what I want it to be about and what I want to talk about, but I didn't really make any guidelines or kind of like do any practice runs or anything like that. All I know is it is 2016 and I'm ready to take my life back, and I'm ready to live the life that I deserve, and I'm ready to live the life that the Lord has provided for me. So basically, I wanted to say what everybody has been saying since literally like the middle of 2025 and towards the end of 2025 is thank the Lord that is 2026. And not necessarily like environmentally, but I think mentally, because a lot of people, like they're saying 2025 took me through it, 2025 broke me down, and it made me strong enough to go into 2026. And I feel like I am definitely, if not the ringleader, and an example of being just dragged in the dirt. Like I can't even like explain how grimy some people have done me throughout the years, because I've just never been the type of person who just like wanted to stay in negativity or bring up negative stuff or the past. So I can't even accurately label how bad these people did me, especially because I think a main reason is because when you work on yourself and God take you through this journey, you learn how to let go, and you learn letting go is for the best. So I feel like that's another reason why I don't really try to label the horrible things people did to me, or like just say, oh, these people are so bad, because at the end of the day, they were life lessons, and I really did grow from every single one of them. And it's like every time I think back on these situations, and I know a lot of people can relate, like, you're thinking back on these situations and you're just like, oh my god, like if I would have just did this other thing, because like knowing what you know now, like you just think you go to the past and like, oh, like know what I know now, like I would have did this, I would have did that. And it's like, as satisfying as that may be, the lessons, like if you do it properly and you grow from that, and you don't try to like get revenge, or you don't hold on to that hate and then you inflict it onto others, when you truly give it up to God, like I promise you, when you truly give it up to God, the only thing that you can gain from those past experience is knowledge. And knowledge is the key to life. I'm gonna just say, like, a lot of people, especially in the early 2000s, because I'm a 2000s baby, I remember seeing so much propaganda about like what is the meaning of life, and it's just been such a huge question back then. And I just thought about it, and I think about it sometimes, because I feel like more now than ever, no, people don't know what it is, but fewer people are asking that question. And to me, from what I've learned and from what God has told me, is knowledge. I feel like living your life and growing and learning every day, if that's like reading a book every day, going to school, which means like, kindergarten, pre-K, middle school, and then if you want to do college, I feel like that's definitely optional, because that is something you have to pay for unless you do something that's a little cheaper. Because I did go to college, but what I can say about it is that my experience with college is, if your family isn't financially stable, or if you were not saving up since you were like an infant to go to college, depending on your major and what you want to be when you grow up, I do not think college is totally necessary, but college does come with so many other perks. Like, if it was up to me and if you were asking advice from me about college, I would say literally freshman year. Do freshman year, make sure you dorm, because in my personal opinion, there's no reason anybody should be going to college if they don't dorm. Because even if you don't pay like dorming costs, college is still way too expensive. So you're gonna be paying a lot of money in it. You're gonna have to commute. You're gonna have to deal with home life, your home situation. You're gonna be distracted. You're not even gonna be able to meet new people and do on-campus activities unless you like commute to on-campus activities and all of that jazz. And that's another reason why I feel like you should dorm, is because I feel like half of learning and what you get from college, that is really beneficial. And I feel like that's why they make a lot of people pay for it, because people who don't go to college lose such, or they never gain a wider view in life. Because when you think about it, when you grow up, all you know is the people you grew up with, some of your family members, and then the friends you meet in like middle school and like high school type thing. And that's all you know. Like, if you don't move, like, that's all you know. But when you go to college, you get to meet people from out of state, from out of town, from different countries. You get to talk about different things. You get to just open up, like, and they have so many different like groups that you can join, so then you can find out if you have an interest or a hidden talent that you never knew about, or if you have a talent and you just haven't been in the right environment. Like, maybe at home everybody's very closed-minded and you just feel like you can never really open up to these people about what you want to do. I feel like college is a great way to open you up and do that. But the only reason why I would say college can be a scam sometimes is because obviously the prices are extremely high, overly priced. But I do feel like a lot of the professors, considering that when it comes to money in the United States, they just want the rich to become more rich. So half of the times you don't even get a professor that's in your generation. Half of the time they're not even in your parents' generation. So I feel like a lot of colleges need to realize that even though these professors have a lot of knowledge and they've been in this industry for so long, unfortunately, if the system isn't made up in a way where professors can go through this much school and pay off their debt in this amount of time and have money to enjoy their life, for doing such a contribution. Oh, I suck at talking. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm a writer. For their contributions, I don't know, to teaching people, because I feel like teaching people, the word that I like to call it more than a teacher is a philosopher, because I feel like teaching nowadays has become into something that's really forced onto people. Like, when you go to school, I feel like they kind of force the knowledge onto you, and I feel like that's another part of the reason why a lot of people kind of, jump out of learning, because they kind of just don't like to be forced into things. Whereas a philosopher, something that I identify with very much, is somebody who just gives out knowledge, like somebody that just talks about experiences and their thoughts and their ideologies, and they just pray for whoever needs to hear it will hear it, understand it, and interpret it in a way that they understand, and use it for their own benefit. So that's what I feel like that should be about. And I feel like a lot of teachers nowadays are too old to understand. Like I've had a lot of professors that tried to downplay my work significantly, I don't want to say I'm like the smartest person in the world, because even in high school and elementary school, I used to always get merit roll. I was never an honor roll student. I've always had trouble with reading and writing and spelling. Um, I was in I was on a short bus when I was younger. I had an IEP. I did all of that, but even with those setbacks, it never changed who I was. I was always a person that wanted to learn more and just be into different stuff. Like, I've always liked to read since I was younger, and I've always liked music and different type of things like that. So, um, yeah. So, and I have like this perfectionist side to me. Unfortunately, being the oldest daughter, and I have a little bit of Virgo inside me, and I just know what I can do. So it just kind of like, so it was like a lot of times in college where I wanted things to be perfect. When I wanted my creative idea, I wanted all of that to be laid out on the map, and I knew I can do it, but it would always come to the points where it would be like, it felt like the professors only really cared about uh, a due date. Like, they only, like, I feel like the best way to describe college, because I can talk about this forever. I might have to make a separate video because I have so many college story times that I can tell if you guys want to hear those. But I feel like what college ended up being mostly was old and out of touch professors, and professors that only cared about a due date, and college feeling like survival of the fittest. It felt like they wanted you to do so many things to the point where it's like, it was like a checklist. It felt like a checklist. It felt like if you couldn't do this, and that, and that, and that, and even if it didn't involve, like, schoolwork, they just like, if you can't do this, then you don't deserve a degree. And that's just like something that is so unbelievable to me. Because, like, first of all, I'm paying you all of this money that I shouldn't even be paying you, because it shouldn't even cost that much to get a degree. I'm paying you all of this money to learn about my major, to learn about something that I want to do in the future. But then over here in America, they just so money hungry. You have to pass this class, and this class. When I was in school, I was DMA major. That was digital media arts. So yeah, I had to take every math class in the book. I was never even like a ASAP math, but I passed some class. I was going to like tutoring, and it's just like I was doing so much, and it just felt like none of it mattered, and it just pissed me off so bad, because I would see all of these other people, the people that would be like more well off and have parents that had money and had a car, and people who like were taught and raised about this stuff for like longer than I was. Because when I was going to college, it was definitely a split of the moment decision. I would have been the first generation person to graduate from college in my family, so it's like, I really didn't have anybody. And I think that's going to take me into more of what I wanted to talk about today, is basically why I want to take 2016 more serious. No, 2026. I don't know, I keep saying 2016. But that was one of the last, best years. So that's probably why this year's going to be good too. I can feel it. Okay. So the reason why I want to take 2026 very serious, not saying that I haven't been as serious as I am now, but I'm done. I'm just done with everything. I'm done with everybody, and I'm done with myself, and I'm just done with everything that was holding me back in the past, and I'm just ready to be me, and I'm ready to do things that I want to do, and I don't want to care about what anybody thinks about me anymore. And it's just because I feel like, so basically I've gone through like a spiritual journey, and I feel like it was right before 2020. It was right before 2020. It was after my first year of college, and I came back to stay with my mom for a couple of weeks because they had like winter break. And during that winter break, that was when the spiritual journey has started. And it started, the reason why I believe this so much is because I didn't know anything about like spiritual journeys and how serious it can be. Like, I can't believe I'm talking about this now because I feel like everybody else that like was telling me about how spiritual journeys will be, and it's really like this, like, because I'm definitely a YouTube person. Like, I love YouTube down. Like, you know how people be like, oh, I go home when I scroll on TikTok and doom scroll on TikTok. No, like, if I'm not out and about, like, even if I'm out and about and I got my phone, I'm just having it for music. I've never been the person that's just like a phoneaholic. Like, no shade to anybody who is, but I just never been somebody that's just like glued to my phone. Like, and anytime I'm like staring at my phone and I'm just not doing anything else, it's probably because like there's nothing else to do. But basically, and my phone is off right now. Like, I'm the type of person, like, my phone don't even have to be on if I got Wi-Fi. Like, as long as I got music for real. So, yeah, so very big on YouTube. So I have very specific things that I like to watch, and I really like to watch YouTube reaction videos, and that's basically the only thing that was like on my YouTube around that time. YouTube reaction videos and a lot of K-pop stuff, because that's the only thing that I'm like really into, like some BL, anime, you know, stuff like that. And then out of nowhere, I'm just like on YouTube, and they'll have like these spiritual TikTok compilations on my YouTube. And the reason why I say I watch what I watch, because YouTube will recommend stuff for you, but it will only be in the midst of what you watch, and nothing that I watched at the time correlated with these spiritual, like almost an hour long compilation videos that would just pop up on my screen. And okay, so this was around the time, like right when I came back home, and y'all, it was like, if y'all know about Buffalo, New York has had like these shootings at this Tops in Buffalo, and lo and behold, my mom lived like right around the corner. Like, that was our Tops, and I think it was like a racially motivated shooting. And also I was supposed to go grocery shopping that day, me and my mom, because I remember I asked her the day before it happened. I was like, hey, do you want to go to the grocery store tomorrow? And I know my mom goes to the grocery store really early. She liked to go early in the morning. So when I was sleeping, I guess I looked at the phone, my time, and I was like, okay, I guess we're not going grocery shopping yet, because she didn't wake me up. So when I did get up, you know, she had told me, and she was like with my aunt Ingrid, not my real aunt, but she was with my aunt Ingrid, and yeah, she told me what happened. And I was just like, I was stunned, because not only was it a racially motivated shooting around the corner from my mom's house, but we were supposed to go that day. And I thank the Lord every day. Well, I actually don't, but I should. Well, I do thank the Lord every night before I go to sleep, you know, to pray for all of the families that were you know, taken away by COVID and all of these mass shootings, because it really is, you know, I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to cry, because I feel like I might cry a lot in this video. But yeah, and after that, I don't know, something in my spirit, it just took me out. Like, it took me out. Like, I was so sad, and I just felt like I just didn't know what to do or to think. And that was around the time where I was on YouTube, and I would just see these compilations, and I'm just like, what is this? So then I would just watch them like as something to go to sleep, because they was really like aesthetic looking and everything. And it's just like, I've always been into learning, so I'm like, what is this? So then I'm watching it, and then everything is slowly starting to make sense. Like, I'm like, yes, I do like reside with this. Like, I do get this, like all of this, like, you know, the witchy practices, like spirituality, like just all of this stuff. So I got into that into spirituality around like 2020 or 2021. I think it was 2020. So I got into spirituality around there. I don't even know where I was going from there, but that's when I got into spirituality. But I did want to talk about a little bit of my upbringing, because I feel like throughout the years I've grown up and a lot of people always view me as something that I'm not. I'm trying not to cry. I'm a crybaby. Sorry. Not sorry, but sorry. And I feel like that is the biggest challenge that I've had to deal with to this day, is because I've had to grow up in so many difficult and challenging environments and around abusive and mentally abusive people. And I've came out of those situations so strong every time. And I want to share some of these experiences just to like finally put everything in the past, and to let people know that no matter what you've been through, that you can make it. Because what you go through, if you use that for good, if you use this for good, and you give it to God, and you learn from all of your hardships, and you use it to better yourself, it's all gonna work out. Because at the end of the day, it's just life lessons. So when I was younger, I can't really remember specifically the age, but I was really young. I want to say around maybe like 6, maybe. So me and my mom, and I have a brother that is 2 years younger than me. We lived in Buffalo, and then I think when my brother came, I don't know how old he was, but I don't remember how old he was. Maybe like 1, 2, or 3. But for some reason, my grandmother on my mom's side took my brother to go live with her in Rochester. So it was like a little period of time where I didn't live with my brother, but I was also kind of young to realize what was going on. So it wasn't like I missed him that much because I was young. So it's like I didn't really understand what was happening. But then eventually I went to stay with my grandma in Rochester, and basically, to break it down now, they was telling us that they didn't really think my mom could take care of us, so my grandma took us. And long story short, I don't want to get too in depth into these stories, because I do want to make them into story times just in case y'all want to hear about them. So I will say like, oh, this could be a story time, and if you want to hear about it, just let me know in the comments, and whichever story time get the most likes, then I'll do that one. But yeah, we went to live with her in Rochester, and when we was there in Rochester, I want to say it was okay. I am a very grateful person, and it's like a lot of things that I tell people when I go through things. I always get like, girl, like that was crazy, or like, girl, you didn't react enough, or I've always felt like that I didn't have the right to feel the way I felt in some of these moments. So I'm saying that living in Rochester, it was okay, but I don't know if it was like actually okay. But it was okay because we never went hungry, and we always had somewhere to sleep, a bed, and things like that. And it was always clean, it was always like that. But when we were living with my grandma, she was not really all the way there. She was kind of like, she was a heavy drinker back then, so she was kind of really abusive sometimes, especially towards me more than Frank. She was always a little bit more towards me because I don't really know why. I don't really know why, but it's a lot of story times that I can tell about living with her. So if you guys want to hear about those, just let me know, but it will be crying probably. Yeah, so yeah, that was like a lot of stuff I had to go through. And as I got older, I remember the first thing I ever wanted to be was a veterinarian, because I've always loved animals, especially cats and stuff. And it's so ironic now knowing the things that I know, because being a veterinarian was the only profession that nobody ever tried to talk me out of. Know what I know now. But as I got older, I realized, like, I didn't realize, but I just kind of didn't know I wanted to be a veterinarian. But then as I got older, you know, started hanging around with some other people and all of that, I met this girl, I think her name was Kiki, and she wanted to be a singer. Like, we were still like young around this time, like around like 11 maybe, and or 12. And I remember this was when we eventually moved back to Buffalo. I think the first we moved back to Buffalo, I was around the age 11 and 12, because I remember my first birthday was back in Buffalo. No. Yeah, I think I was around 11 and 12. Yeah, I was either 11 or 12 when we came back to Buffalo. And, because I remember. No, I was either 12 or 13. Because I remember my first birthday being back in Buffalo was 14. I want to say 14, but I think it could have been younger than that. I'm not sure. So I got to hanging out with her and like her brothers, because even her brothers wanted to sing. And I just was like, you know, singing too. Like, I've always wanted to sing. Like, even in Rochester, like, my grandma had got me like this like radio player, and I used to have all of these kid bop songs, and I used to just be in my room for hours just like singing and dancing and standing up on chairs and just giving the performance of my life. So I've always wanted to do something with singing. And I remember one time back in Buffalo, like, I was telling my aunt, my real aunt Shay, that's on my grandma's side as well, and my grandma on my mom's side, and I was telling them that I wanted to be a singer, and they literally like laughed in my face. Like, I cannot even like exaggerate. Like, they literally laughed in my face, and they told me that I could never be a singer unless I sounded naturally like Jennifer Hudson, and if I wasn't born with a voice like that, then I can never be anything. And I remember crying, and it still seemed like they didn't really care about how I was feeling. And then they're gonna talk about some, well, people are gonna talk about you, so you need to like learn how to take it now by like from your family. And I remember telling them, like, in that time, in that moment, that well, obviously it hurts more for my family because I know you. Like, it isn't really gonna hurt me if somebody else said it, because like I don't know them. And then after that, I like low-key gave up on singing, and even to this day it hurts my soul, because to this day I still want to do things in music and be a singer and make music videos and do stuff like that. And it just pissed me off so bad because of what they said. It just made me stop. And it's like, like I can, like I still feel like I have like a decent voice. Like I still think my voice is very beautiful and unique, but I just keep thinking, like, imagine if I would have just kept practicing from that moment. Like, I feel like a lot of black parents, and I feel like this comes into like what I wanted else to put in the title. I also wanted to put in something like breaking generational curses and just evolving and just believing in yourself and stuff like that, because I feel like definitely in the black community, um, especially for a lot of us 2000 kids, we have to endure so much from our parents because unfortunately they because of the way society treated them, they didn't get to be the people that they wanted to be, and they was very misguided, hurt. And the only way that they understood parenting, I guess, is treating us the way that they parents treated them. And yeah, so I basically feel like that's why my grandma Machi Shay said it. I definitely believe they didn't. They just. I feel like in a black family, especially mine, I feel like what I've noticed is that nobody wants to be. Nobody wants the next person to be more prosperous than them. And I feel like that is the most selfish thing in the world, because what I was thinking, every time I have a dream, every time I have something I wanted to pursue, in the deepest depths of my heart, like if I had a lie detector on me right now, that shit would ding true. I promise you on God. I put a hand on God. I will always think to myself, this is how I can help my family. This is how we can be living lavish. This is how we can make it out. It was always we. But the more I grew up and the more I had these ideas and the more I just let my creativity show and the more I just put myself out there, it felt like so many people just turned their backs on me and they kind of just shut the door, and I just was like so baffled, because it's like I'm not only trying to do this for me, I'm trying to do this for y'all. And it's like, even if you tell people that, they always want to be the person that make it, and it's such a hard thing for me to understand, because I just realized I will never be that type of person. So it's like I get it, I can see it, I can see where it makes sense in some people's eyes, but like it's just so hard for me to believe it because I'm just not that type of person. And it's like, you don't always have to be the breakout star. You can be the person in that family that helped motivate the breakout person, and that person will help you like in return, like, you know. So it was like that was the first dream that, you know, my family knocked out. Second, like after that, I was living with my mom, but I think I finally understand why they didn't think my mom was fit to take care of me and my brother, because what I noticed slowly was when we came back to Buffalo that my mom would never keep the conditions of her houses nice. Like, ever since I've been back in Buffalo to this day, to this day, I've had to live in conditions that are extremely unsanitary, like health code conditions, unlivable conditions. I've had to live with rats, I've had to live with mice, I've had to live with bed bugs multiple times. And it's just like, I'm just over it. I'm just so over it. So I started realizing that. And then around like high school, again, remember, I was always a merit roll student, you know, doing what I can do, giving my best all the time, and I was always a good student. And my mom decided she wanted to have another baby. This baby wasn't by me and my other brother's dad. It was by a different man who she met in Rochester that ultimately didn't end up being how she wanted it to go. And even though everybody told her not to have a baby by this man, she did it anyway. Now she have a son and he has asthma like his dad. So it will be a lot of times where she was working at this time in high school. When we were in high school, she was working at ECMC, and unfortunately it'll be a lot of times where he got sick, and if he got sick at school or had an asthma attack, they would send him to the hospital, and then she would have to leave work, and she was missing her money. So she would ask me sometimes, she was like, hey, can you stay home with Jermaine and like miss school? And at that time, ever since like elementary school and high school, I used to always get bullied really, really bad for being like a bigger, heavy set girl, like, around in the tummy. So when she would tell me that, like, I would be like, I ain't really like, I could miss a couple of days. Like, I could miss a day or two. But then it got to the point where I would go to school, and then my teachers would ask me like, "Are you gonna come? Are you gonna come to school tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like I think so." And they were like, "Well, I really have to know because we have to, you have to. I really want you to do good," because they knew I was a good student. And I'm like, okay, I had to take this seriously because all I know at this young age is I do not want to live like this anymore, and I need to do whatever I can to graduate high school so I can go to college and just get this money. So I remember one day I came home and I think the lights were out and we didn't have any water, and my mom, we was going like back and forth to my auntie Inger house because at this time she lived like a street over from us, and we would have to go to her house and fill up a jug of water to use it to like wash up or flush the toilet or like cook and stuff like that. And then one time I came home and we already was having a water problem where we didn't have water, but then the lights was out and I was about to take the jug to my auntie Inger house, and then I just cried. Like, I say I'm a crybaby, but that's why I knew so much about me has changed, because up until that moment in high school, I was never a crier. Like, I used to never let myself cry because I think when I was younger I used to be a crybaby, like a little younger, like around like 6, 7 and that. And then people used to always make fun about me, like, stop crying all the time and all of that. So then had to, and I think that's where these long-term issues with me always feeling like my feelings aren't valid came from, was from years of me kind of conceal it, and now I'm just spending years of me just crying, like trying to release everything now. So I just ended up bawling. Like, I don't think my mom ever seen me cry like that. I was like, I can't do it anymore. Like, I'm tired of living like this. Like, I can't even take a bath. Our clothes weren't even getting washed. Like, on top of me being bullied for being fat. Like, I couldn't even like wash my clothes whenever I wanted to. So sometimes sweat, and like from your clothes, it will seep. It will like seep into the clothes and just stay there. And the next day I will wear them. This funk from the clothes would be there, and I'll be so embarrassed, especially like going up the stairs in front of somebody. Like, I used to hate that. Like, I used to always try to get to the back of the line, or I used to always try to walk up the stairs faster than somebody that was behind me quick enough so they couldn't smell it. I used to always have to like turn my back against the railing just to like give it a minute. Like, it was just so frustrating. So I asked her if I can live with my grandma Mary, and that is my grandma on my dad's side. So we did live with her a little bit after we came back from Rochester because we didn't have anywhere to go. We were like in a shelter, and then we went to my auntie Inger house. And then I think once we started school, like elementary school. Once we started elementary school, we started from my grandma Mary house. I don't know why. I think it was closer to the school. I don't know. So we lived with her for a little bit around that time, and it was okay because it was me and my brother. But this time around in high school, when I went to live with her, it was just me. So I went to live with her, and I went to live with her for a while because I think I stayed with her all the way up until college. And even living with her, like, it was very, very mentally abusive. Like, she was so mentally abusive. Like, I can't even. That's some more story times that I can tell you guys about living with her. I even downloaded like this little app where you can write down notes and how you feel, just because like with her, like, it was multiple times when I asked my mom if I could move back in with her because I just didn't want to live with her anymore. And she just kept saying no, like stay there. And it was just like, it was just a lot. Like even up until like college, because she didn't really want me to go to college. She just wanted me to work and help her out with the house. I had to like sneak and buy boxes off of Amazon from like, you know, the summer job that I've had, and pack up all my stuff in one night and call my godmom, because my real auntie, like, she's just so off the rails crazy, batshit crazy, like just crazy. Like I didn't even want her to give me a ride there. Like it was so like I was in such a like position where I felt helpless, and I just called her and I was like, hey, do you have like a couple dollars for like an Uber so I can get to like college or whatever? And then she ended up spazzing out on me, talking about something, all y'all ever want to do is use me, all y'all ask for is money. And mind you, that was the first time in my entire life, hand on heart, swear to God, I ever asked her for some money, ever. And she totally cussed me out, and I was like, fuck it. But then my godmom, mind you, who has like 7 to 8, 9 kids, she was at work, just getting off work. It was like 11 o'clock at night when I called her, and I'm telling her like, hey, can you give me a ride to college? And she was like, as soon as I get off work, I'm gonna let you know. And she took me to college, and that was how I spent my first night in college, alone in a dorm room with nobody. And that's kind of how it went throughout all 4 years of college. Nobody ever helped me move in. Nobody ever helped me move out. Nobody ever got me like welcoming gifts, like a little mini fridge. I had to buy that. Nobody got me a bed set. I had to buy that. Nobody bought me anything. Nobody even gave me money. Like I remember even this one girl, I think her name was Kenyetta. Like Kenyetta, she ended up doing me so dirty. Like I don't want to say she did me dirty, but like I just think about like, it's been a couple times where I've tried to reach out to her like for help every now and then, and it's only because her dad literally lives right next door to my mom, something I did not know when I met her. And I remember her asking like me and her friend group like, can like I have like this wish list on TikTok for like stuff that I want for my dorm. And you know, I think we all cool, and I'm thinking we just, you know, we cool now, we done been friends. And I'm just like, you know, I want to use my little summer check. I got her some stuff. I think I had got her 2 pillows and a blanket. Like the pillows had like embroidered like her name, so it was like a hefty amount of money that I spent. And then a couple times where I've been here with my mom, like I haven't had a job, just struggling, just needing like $10 here and there. And I would like text her on Instagram like, hey, I was just wondering if you had $10 I can borrow, because I'm always a borrow type of bitch, because I know in this world that so many people value money, and I am a recovering people pleaser, so I always try to make sure I understand how to please people, or like at least have an equivalent to how I would feel. So I'm always gonna give it back type person. Like I'm not even really gonna ask for it if I know I can't give it back. So it's like it's a guaranteed I'm gonna give it back. And it's like I never even had a time where I asked for money and didn't give it back to her. So it's like she was just like, oh no, I'm sorry, I can't. Last time I checked, girl, she was working at Wegmans. Okay. So yeah, I just always felt a little like girl, like if you watching this, yeah, like I just always felt like you're weird. But anyways, so yeah, living with my grandma Mary, that was hell. As well, living with my grandma on my dad's side. And when I was living with her also, that's when I first started YouTube. And I was doing K-pop reactions, and I was so into it. I really didn't even want to go to college. I was like, I'm about to build up this YouTube thing. I'm about to get so many subscribers, and I'm about to just make money off YouTube, and that's on, period. But she was another monitoring spirit, and she was so weird about it. Like she would never let me have alone time. Like even when I was trying to go through, like I remember it was a time where her one of her friends came down from like out of city. Like I think she lived in like North Carolina, probably something like that, Texas. And she was like a vegan or like vegetarian. And I've always been interested in that because I've always been wanting like been interested in health and just eating better, exercising, especially since I've been like the fat girl for so long. So I was trying to eat different and lose weight, and it just felt like every time I tried to do that, like she just came and was just like trying to make it so difficult. Um, like I remember when COVID happened, this program that I was in was sending out like subscription like boxes where they would send out like little food or whatever, and I was like perfect because I can just use these boxes, put everything that I want, and then I won't have to worry too much about like, you know, eating certain things or like having her like, you know, using her food or whatever. And even then I wasn't really using her food. I had my mom would give me like half her food stamps at this time, and I would go to the store and get what I needed. And then even then she was being unfair because even with the little amount of money that I would get from my mom from her food stamps, because she still needed it for my brothers, she would ask me to get so many things for her with my mom's food stamps. But when she got food stamps, and all I would ask her for is some fruit. Like I would be like some strawberries. She wouldn't even come back with the strawberries. She would fucking get grapes and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I forgot and I got grapes. Like, get out of here. It would just be like every time. And then it would be like times where I'd be trying to in the front room, like trying to do like at home workouts. Like she would always come in the front and like, you know, try to interrupt me. And then every time I was trying to do YouTube videos, I would always have to do them when she wasn't home, or else she would be making so much noise and like knocking on my door. And then she made me her personal slave. Like it's a lot of things I could talk about living with her. So let me know if you guys want to know that. So that was and then also I was doing TikTok at the time, but I stopped doing TikTok because I did make a TikTok that I seemed like a lot of people was not liking, and it was basically about me. I was like, and it was so funny because the way I used to do TikToks was I would just scroll, and then I would like until I heard a sound that I liked, and then I like when I heard the sound, I would kind of like, you know, random like, you know, my head would just kind of spin with like random things I could do, like whatever first popped into my head. So in the video I heard, it was like a sound of Medea when it was like, I don't even do that no more. I gave myself to the load. I don't even do that no more. Something like that. So then I put me listening to K-pop moans or something like that. And I was like, I don't even do that no more. Something like that. And again, I have like dark humor. I've always had like different type of humor, and it's like compared to the stuff that I've seen people say about K-pop idols, it's crazy. And I was into K-pop early 2016, so it was like everybody that I biased were either my age or way older. So it seemed like people were attacking me because like the main reason they kept trying to like say to support their claim was they're minors and you're a grown-ass woman. And at the time I would literally had just turned 18, so I wasn't even 19, I was 18. So if that's a grown-ass woman, then like a lot of y'all men really need to be held accountable for the shit that y'all do, because yeah, apparently y'all grown at 18, so y'all need to get the shit together. And that's another reason why I say that everything you go through is an experience that you have to learn from, because even if I did blow up around that time, like blow up the way I really wanted to, I feel like I would not be mentally as strong as I am now to deal with those type of people, because now that I've been through everything I've been through, that was 110% a test. That was a test for me to see for God to see how I handle backlash. And what I did was, you know, try to put every like bit of fact, every claim to support why I was not in the wrong, even though I was not in the wrong and I was completely right. Cause some of the thirst trap things I've seen people post about K-pop idols, like, and y'all was mad about my post when people out here being racist and just hate all over the world, and y'all just mad at me. I was like, little old me. I was supposed to say nothing. And if I did say anything, I was supposed to say, this is my account, this is my page, this is my humor, and if you don't like it, you can find somewhere else to go. But I didn't. I let that get to my head. I felt like a bad person, and I just stopped posting on TikTok. I kept trying to do YouTube videos, but around that time, it was people was trying to tell me, like, do you want to go to college? And it was like, I just didn't want to live with my grandma Mary no more. So it kind of forced me to go to college because I didn't want to live with my mom. I didn't want to live with my grandma Mary, and there was nowhere else I could really go. So I was like, if I go to college in dorm, then I can finally start YouTube the way I want and just be me and everything. So when I did go to college, I won't lie, college was like the first 2 years, it was great. And it was mainly because I went to a different college. I went to 2 different colleges, and that's because the first college I went to shut down because the president was stealing money. And it's a lot of other stuff that was happening at that college, and I'm gonna air that shit all out because I was an RA, and a lot of the people that I worked with did some shady shit against me, and that shit will be coming out. So I pray that y'all have y'all shit together and you're not in that industry no more, because I will air your shit out, and I am airing it out. Payback is a bitch, hunty. But anyway, so be ready for that, y'all. Be ready. Come on, I need y'all. We're gonna have so much fun. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. I can feel it. Okay, so definitely, like, I've always been somebody that was, like, into different stuff, like, even at a young age. I don't even remember how old I was, like, maybe, like, 9, my mom had bought me the movie Phantom of the Opera. Fell in love with it. I used to watch it every single day. Still have the songs on my phone. I loved anime. I got into BL really young. It was Scam. Scam was my first introduction to BL, and it was like, y'all, people would watch Scam around when it was coming out. That was an experience. Like every time I think about who I am at my core, it was around this time where I was living in Buffalo, and I think it was around elementary school, and I had this room, and it's kind of like my setup now. I have this blow-up bed, but it's not blown up, it's popped. So I've been sleeping on the floor for almost half of my life. Yeah, I had a blow-up bed at the house, and it popped, so I was on the floor. And I remember I just had this little radio, and I remember I would go to the library and print out a lot of pictures of current artists that I was watching and that I was listening to, and it was Nicki Minaj, One Direction, Alicia Cara, Melanie Martinez, Troye Sivan, just all of them. And that was, every time I think about that time, that's where I felt the most like me, where I felt like myself. And I also was like reading books. I had like a whole like stack of books or whatever that disappeared because when my mom moved, all I asked her to take was the back books. That's all I asked her to take, and then somehow they got lost and destroyed. And again, anybody that's going through this journey who wants better for their life and I just knows that they can be better and they want to level up in life, you are going to lose so much shit. Because God wants you to know that everything you got is materialistic. None of this shit matters. None of it. Not even that little piece of paper that the world runs around. None of it matters. Okay? I've lost so much shit in life and I don't even care. I'm to the point where I'm ready to lose it all. I asked God so much times. I said, take it all. I don't care anymore. Take it all. Because I'm so ready. I'm so ready. Like, I've lost enough. Like, I've lost everything. Like, not enough, but I'm just saying, like, I've lost everything already. Like, I literally don't have anything. Well, I do have stuff, so it's like, I'm not saying like I don't, but it's like everything that I would have wanted to hold on to, everything that I've tried to hold on to, I've definitely gotten into the habit of, you know, if one day it's gone, like, it's just gonna be gone. It's okay. So I can't remember where I was at. Damn. Where was I? Can't remember where I was at. Okay, so oh yeah, so in that room, and also Wattpad, like I used to always write. Oh my goodness, I forgot. Okay, so I said my first passion was singing. They took that away from me, and I said my second passion was TikTok and YouTube, and that was taken away from me. But actually, the second one was writing. But I guess I never remember that because they never fully took writing away from me. I think writing is literally my calling. Like, there's so many other things that I am capable of creativity wise, that I feel like I am, like I'm trying to say, like, I'm not trying to say like I'm a better writer than anything else that I want to do in life, but I'm saying that writing is something that God, thankfully, that I'm realizing right now, never let me let go of. Because I wanted to be a writer. It was, I can't remember when it was, but I was definitely younger than elementary school and high school. And we would always go down to North Carolina or South Carolina. I can never remember which one. And we would go down there, and me and my cousin or my brother, we would work at this YMCA, and we would make lunches for the kids. We would make lunches for the kids during like a summer program, and it's so funny to me thinking now, like, I was literally the same age as those kids during the summer program, and I'm in the back making lunches for them, like, or at least we was getting paid. But it was like around that time, and then my I was writing stories on Wattpad. Actually, this wasn't, because we did this a lot. We did this for like 3 summers. So I'm thinking back when we first started. Like, we was that young. But around this time, this was the last time we did it. So I think I was about to go to high school. So I think it was the summer before high school. We was making the lunches, and we was doing extra stuff too. I could probably tell you a little bit more about that as well, in a different story time. But my grandma had this friend, this lady that she worked with at this separate thing that we also had to do. We had to take lunches to this other place, and she was telling us that we could write stories, like we can write a book. And I was like, oh, that would be perfect, because I have so many stories on like Wattpad that I'm writing, and I can just like change the names, because I did a lot of fanfics around the time, so I could just change the names and write about it, this and that. And then my younger cousin that was with us, she was really young. Like, she was younger than me. I can't remember. I don't know how many years younger than she is than me, but I want to say around like 5 years. So she definitely didn't really know what she wanted to do, and it was really frustrating because, like I was saying, my auntie Shay, like, you know, the crazy one, every time we would try to like get the books done, she would waste so much time on the phone, like trying to call about the story and trying to figure out what it was about, and it was just taking so much time from me that we never got to finish the book. And it kind of like, it hurt me a lot, because again, it just felt like, you know, I just felt like I couldn't win in the situation where it was like I wasn't trying to win, I was just trying to just be. And it just wasn't working because some other monitoring spirit wanted to mess it up. And again, like, a lot of people in my family is really jealous. Like, I can't really flush out everything now, but like, for these story times, I would definitely like tell y'all, so I can really get a gist of like why she was doing it. And it was definitely like on purpose why she was doing it. But at the time, I didn't realize it. But as I got older, I realized why. So that was another thing. So I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to publish a book. I wanted to do YouTube and TikTok. And it just seemed like none of it was working. So I'm like, okay. So in college, I had to go to a different college because that college shut down, and I went to Canisius, and I had to decide between Canisius and Buff State. And the first thing my heart called for was Buff State, because we did a tour, and all of Buff State was orange. Orange is my favorite color. Orange has been my favorite color ever since elementary school. And you know, that was around the time where orange was nobody's favorite color, like, especially not a girl. Like, every time I used to tell people my favorite color, they was like, oh, that's so unique. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's like me. But, yeah, so I was like, this is perfect. Like, this is exactly where I wanted to be. But it was so lively, and it's predominantly black, and I knew that a lot of people um, was from my old school was probably gonna go there. And this was around a time where I kind of had like 2 years left, I think. So I was like, I just want to focus. And then they had this other school, Canisius, and around the time I was in this program called Upper Bound, and Upper Bound had to leave because, again, you know, they were a part of the other school I was first at called Madai. And Upper Bound, they had to move, but Canisius needed another diverse program, so they was like, okay, we'll take Upper Bound. So we did a tour Canisius, and I was like, I think Canisius, I like Canisius because I felt like it'll be an environment where I could focus more and just get my stuff done, so I don't have to worry about being distracted by like parties or like anything like that. But the only problem was Canisius was extremely 10 times more expensive than Buff State. And the thing was, I had a hard this time deciding, but I did pick Canisius only because the Upper Bound lady who worked there, she kind of like, she low key begged me. Like, she was like, please, 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 because then you can work with us and you can, like, you know, get paid through us. And basically, she was asking me to do it so she didn't have to hire anybody else to be like a teacher, because that was what I did in Upper Bound. Was after I graduated, I was a student teacher, so I would teach classes, and I did a critical thinking classes. And usually most of the people that she would hire, they just never really worked out, or they never really did their job. And I always did my job. Like, I'm always gonna be the person to do the job to a T, and that's why I feel like a lot of people don't like me and I can't get a job now, because I feel like people just feel my aura. Like, they just know that I'm gonna walk in and I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do, and they get intimidated. Instead of doing what they need to do, they try to do anything they can to mess you up or not get the job, so they don't have to fix the way they act. So, and it's okay, because it's another thing that's showing me God wants me to pursue my passions. Like, I've been wanting to do it for so long, and I'm finally doing it. So thank you, Lord. But what I was saying was, yeah, so she kind of persuaded me to go there. And again, it's not her fault, it is definitely my fault. But like, I just felt like we was close. Like, we had a very, very close bond. Like, it was to the point where they would have like these crazy like parties for the students, and they would go all night. Sometimes they'll need people to be there early to decorate. They'll need people to stay mad late to like de-decorate. And I will always be there. I would just always try to be the person that just be there. And yeah, so I was like, maybe she won't steer me wrong, you know. So it got to the point where I just was not liking Canisius. I felt so isolated. I didn't like the dorm rooms. It was literally a jail cell. Like, I have a picture of it. I think I've done some TikToks in that room, but it was literally a jail cell. I felt so suffocated. I felt like my family was falling apart. Like, my grandma would call, and then my mom would call, and then it just seemed like they would just argue with each other, and then they would always call me with bad news. And it was just like, I just couldn't focus, and I was scared for my brothers, and just so much stuff was going on. I just couldn't do it anymore. Like, I didn't have any friends, because back in Madai, like, I had this big like friend group thing where like, you know, the whole friend group had blew up, and that could be a story time too. So it just was like, I just felt so lonely, and I didn't have anybody, and I wanted to. That was like the second time I ever wanted to take my life. The first time I ever wanted to was back, you know, in elementary school. I had a fight with this one girl. She was 1 year younger than me. I think I was in 8th, and I think she was in 7th grade, and she wanted to fight me for like literally no reason. But I wasn't going to back down, because I'm not back down type of bitch. That could be a story time, but basically everybody said I lost when that really wasn't the case, and I could tell you about it. Y'all can let me know what y'all think. So yeah, when I got home, I was just like on my phone, and I remember looking at Facebook, and everybody was like talking about me and dragging me. And I remember like just trying to like just slide in it. across my wrist, like a couple times and stuff like that. So that was the second time I ever wanted to just end it all, was in Kenesha's, and it got so bad. And I remember, a couple days before classes were gonna start back up, because I had 1 year left. I had like half a semester to finish and 1 year left, and that school definitely held me back a lot. That's another, like, I got a lot of stuff to tell y'all. Y'all gonna be aired out. Y'all done mess with God's strongest soldier. Y'all is going to feel it. I'm gonna make you feel it. I'm gonna make you feel it. I'm gonna make you feel it. Okay. So basically I got like a email from somebody basically saying, like, I don't know, like, you're gonna have to like figure out, like, do you want to stay here or not, and if you want to, you're gonna have to write like some pages and like explain all the hardships you've been through and this and this and that. And then just in the moment, it just felt like such a transactional thing. Like, they were saying, like, if you want to stay here, let us know all the hard shit you've been going through so we can feel some type of pity and we'll let you stay here. And it's like, I didn't want to do that anymore, because I just felt like the work that I've had put in, the work that I am putting in, was way more than I needed to stay there. So I was like, you know what, I'm giving up. Because I'm not giving up, but I was like, I'm done, because I don't even like it here. And this was around the time, again, like, I was in spirituality, but like I was kind of losing it a little bit. And I was like, everything that I want to do, everything I want to feel, like the person that I want to be, it doesn't feel like here. Like, every time I was in that dorm, like, just there, it felt like I was in some type of vortex, like in some type of black hole that was trying to like hold me there, you know. And I was like, it was because I seen a video like not too long ago before this moment of Zendaya, and she was like, I remember my mom told me, if you don't want to do it, don't do it, and if you want to do something else, do that. And then I remember the interviewer was like, so like, what if you don't? And she was like, Zendaya was like, I don't want to do it, then I won't do it, and if I want to do something else, then I'll do that. And I was like, I just kept thinking, I'm like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. So I was like, I just texted the guy back and I was like, I'll leave because I just don't want to be here. And I only had 1 year left. And I came back to stay with my mom. And staying with her was really the catalyst that was really, I was going to say the catalyst that broke the camel. Is that like accurate, or am I just talking out my ass? I don't know. But that was really the thing to break the camel's back, because when I came back to stay with her, I did not know she had such unbearable like neighbors that lived upstairs. The lady that lived upstairs was completely insane. She had like 3 daughters and 3 sons. And then it was so funny for me to like realize that one of her sons I went to high school with, he used to bully me, and it was so crazy. It's so crazy, like, how you meet people. Yeah, that was crazy. She would blast music all day and all night, even on school nights, going into 12 o'clock at night. And I used to be so like, because she had daughters that went to school too, so it was like, if I can hear it beating down my walls, I found it crazy, but if I could hear it beating down the walls downstairs, then it's like, imagine what her girls had to sleep through on school nights till 12 o'clock, almost 1 o'clock in the morning. She would scream and yell like out the front porch downstairs. She would run down the stairs and scream off the front porch, I hate this house, I hate it, I don't want to live here. But it's like, I get it, because this house is trash. And I will show y'all some clips and like photos that I have of what I've had to live in for years. and another reason why I'm done and I'm not playing 2026 at all. So, yeah, like, and then a couple of weeks after that, like, she ended up stabbing her baby daddy. It was blood on our front door, and I remember seeing that. The cops came, and it's just dealing with my mom and dealing with everybody, and it's just so hard. It's just so hard when I'm getting through it. And it came a time where my god sister was finally moving out, and I remember we talked about living with each other for a long time, and I remember asking her if I could stay with her, and she was like, I'll give you 3 months. And I was like, perfect. I don't know if I want this to be a story time, but like maybe I can give y'all like the gist, and if y'all want to hear it, I could talk about it. But basically, when I was staying with her, I had to learn the hard way that she was another like envious, hating, weird hoe on the side, because she gave me 3 months, and even before the first month even barely started, I had a job. I was working at this hotel, but the hotel was mad far from where she lived, because she decided that she wanted to live all the way out in the backwoods. Like it was like in Cheektowaga, but it was like so far. Like they only had one bus that was like in front of the complex that she lived at. And when she said she wanted to live somewhere nice, I didn't think she was gonna be that far. I was thinking somewhere like a little closer. So for me, that being the first time of me ever doing anything like that, I feel like I did a good job, because I had to take 3 buses to get there and back. But the thing was, some of the buses didn't run at certain times, and I was scheduled full time, and it was just a lot. And I was like, I wasn't getting paid enough to the point where it was even taking me to work every day. So it was like either I was gonna have to miss certain days of work and just be like, hey, I'm gonna have to call out or take off my schedule, because it was just like it was impossible at that point. And I only was working there for like, I want to say a good maybe 3-4, if I'm pushing it, 4 weeks. So I'm thinking 3 weeks. And I was like, yeah, that's not gonna work, because I can't even get to work at this point. So I basically quit. And after that, I had, the money I had saved up from my last check, and I was going to use that to go to other interviews, find something a little closer, like a 7-Eleven, stuff like that. And then as I'm looking for work, her rent is coming up, the first month rent. Mind you, she gave me 3 months. She said I'm going to have 3 months before I have to, like, chip in to do rent or whatever. So basically, we've been having problems before this situation. That's why I want to do a story time on that. But basically, rent is coming up, and she telling me like, oh, do you have any money left? And I'm like, yeah, I have like this much. And again, it's not even that much. Like it's like one something, like 185 probably. And she like asking me for it for like rent, and I'm like, I can't do that, because what am I gonna use to get back and forth from work? And she wasn't even giving me a solution. She was like, I don't know. And I'm like, that's why I just Lord, please, I just can't wait to live on my own, because I've just had to deal with so many people that's like, that claim they know more or act like they know more or should know more because they older, but I feel like I'm always the one that's thinking like the most logical, and then it's like they just being weird. Because it's like, if you giving somebody 3 months to get a job before they have to pay rent, you should be secure that you are going to be able to pay your rent for that 3 months before asking me for money. And then it's like, again, like I'm trying to make it work for our favor, because it's not like I'm saying, oh, I'm gonna just keep the money and spend it on whatever I want and just not worried about getting a job and just live off of her for 3 months to move out. Like, no, I'm over here, I need this money so I can go back and forth on the bus or take an Uber to get these job interviews to get another job. And then for you to be like, I don't know, then what we gonna do? So after she said that, I was like, yeah, you know what, I'm about to just leave. Like, and then on top of that, it wasn't even like I wasn't even bringing anything in there, because she didn't even have food stamps. And it's like, I have food stamps. I get $298 in food stamps every month. So I was using my food stamps and we was getting food, and if I didn't have that, she would have been stuck ordering DoorDash and shit. And she very, 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 very overweight. So my main goal when I was living there is because I was like, I'm more on the healthier side, is that I want to help her lose weight. Again, I've never came into anything with like malice intent or like envious intent or just weird shit, and that's why I know God got me and I deserve everything that I'm about to get, and I accept that shit, period. So it's like, it was not even like I'm just living off her for nothing. And it was like, and I was cleaning up. I would do the dishes, I would take out the trash, do the bathroom, I would like clean up everything because she was working and I wasn't. So I'm like, I'll clean up. And then again, like washing dishes, and then it's like, she big, so it's like she don't want to just eat one time. And then it was weird because she'd talk about something she don't want to just eat. Like if I would make something and we would have leftovers and I'm like, oh, we can eat that tomorrow, she'd be like, are we eating that tomorrow? Like, girl, like, we don't have, like, it's not like we didn't have enough, well, like money for food, but it's like we don't have enough for you to be wanting something different every day. And then it's like, what, you just letting the rest of that go to waste? Like, I'm not that type of person. Like, annoying. And it's like, and she went to culinary, like, it's a lot of stuff that I got to talk about her. And she still got half of my stuff at her house. That's what I'm saying. I don't even care about losing stuff, because her and her mom supposed to been take me to go get the rest of my stuff, and they acting weird. They keep calling me and texting me, asking me when I'm going to come get my stuff. Again, I don't have a job. I don't have a car. Her mom has the car. She has a job. They act like I have keys to her apartment to get into it if she in work. If I go there and get my shit, like, I don't have no way to get it. I've been telling them, like, you know, if you have time, like, I really appreciate it, because you know I don't have no car, but they keep calling me, asking me. And if it comes to the point where they say they're gonna throw my shit out, I'm not even gonna care. That's the type of I don't give a fuck you need to be on. I don't care if you just bought that shit. When God puts you in them situations, it's not your time for you to blow up, scream, like blow up the world and cuss out everybody and their mama. You say, okay, you let that shit go, cause I bet you God double it. I bet you he double it. So in this moment, I don't even know if half of my stuff gonna be gone, but if it is, so be it. So yeah, so I was only with her for like literally half a month, because I was like, I'm out of here. You're not about to use my food stamps for a second month and think you about to treat me like this. You can figure, since you missed big and bad and you got it all figured out, you can figure out where you're going to get your food that month. That could have been a little petty, but I think God also has been teaching me to put up boundaries and stop letting motherfuckers step all over me, because that's what I've been doing for a long time. All I want to do is make people happy and spread love and help other people out and make sure they happy and feel love, while motherfuckers just look at me and go, you know, it's like I can't take it no more, so I gotta give back what bitches give me, you know. So it's like I left and I came back here, and then while I was here, her mom was staying with my mom, but I didn't think they was gonna be moving their whole thing in here. Like, she was basically telling us, like, they a whole like family of liars and weirdos. So she was telling us, like, the way she was saying it was basically she just needed to stay here for like a couple days. So because something like with the house, you know, they was gonna move out and then they stuff out at a certain time, and she already have her house, so she just, lo and behold, she didn't have her house. She was still looking, and she brought all her shit into my mom's house. Mind you, my mom is a 3-bedroom house. It's a upstairs and a downstairs, so it was only downstairs. This girl got 7 to 8 kids. Most of them don't live with her now, but like the ones that live with her, I want to say a good 5. A good 5 kids. So she was trying to bring 5 kids worth of shit in my mom's house, and they had roaches. So once they left, my mom, you know, and I was staying here. We had rats, mice. The bed bugs thankfully went away around that time, and roaches. The roaches are just now getting taken care of, because somebody came and they like exterminated a little bit. So like I still see them from time to time. The lady said it would take like a week to get them all to, like, you know, disperse. Yeah, so yeah, and they've been doing construction every day, and my mom got a case on this house, so it's just been very stressful. I've been breaking down so much, but God really got me, and I'm so excited that this is my first YouTube video. I really don't know how this is gonna go, but I just wanted to get everything out. Like, I just wanted all of my past to be just out and just to start somewhere, you know? Like, I didn't really have any guidelines for this video. I really didn't really know too much of what I wanted to talk about, but all I know is I wanted to talk about everything that I had to go through to finally realize who I am, and that I'm gonna continue to do what I want and make my art. I'm gonna continue to write. I'm gonna continue to sing. I'm gonna continue to make videos. I'm gonna continue to do everything that I've always wanted to do. I'm gonna continue to do all of the gifts that God gave me of balance, love, balance, love, it's three, because I always say, every time I pray, I be like, thank you, Lord, for the skills and the gifts that was given to me of creativity, love, kindness, and balance. Creativity, love, kindness, and balance. Creativity, love, kindness, and balance. So I'm going to continue to use these gifts that God gave me to help the world become a better place. And I just pray that if you guys want to join me on this journey, that you subscribe, and I will try to make, actually, we're just gonna see where this goes. So yeah, and lastly, I just want you to know that no matter how hard it seems, no matter how many people feel like nobody is supporting you, you know, you heard it from me, like, damn near nobody supported me my whole life, and all I've ever did was support people. So it's like, it happens. Just keep believing in yourself, believe in God, hold his hand, and just love. I really pray you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to hear any other story times from me, let me know. Love you guys. Bye.